Solipsism. Mock, jeer, scoff, the overthrow of Newtonian physics. There's sites on the internet that mock at solipsism. I admit it's a difficult idea to get a hold of, to understand. Naive solipsism is virtual magic. I'm not talking about naive solipsism or simple solipsism. That's foolish. Obviously there is cause and effect. Cause and effect is the basis of what we assume to be reality. Reaction and reaction, standard Newtonian physics, that's obvious. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to a deep philosophical underlying principle in reality. And I'll provide some links on the internet with quantum physics and subatomic particles. For a fictional idea of solipsism, I refer you to Jack London, the novelist, and his story called Star Rover. I'll provide a link for that. Yes, I'm not referring to naive solipsism. That's ridiculous. I'm referring to basic principles of quantum mechanics. For instance, this book, a very interesting book, by the way, The Self-Aware Universe by Goswami, PhD. This more or less explains my meaning for solipsism. The basic underlying principles of the world in reductionism, scientific reductionism, doesn't hold anymore because of quantum mechanics. As you go down to smaller and smaller atomic particles, the world starts to disappear into a mist, a fog. The subatomic particles, apparently, according to quantum mechanics, are nothing but mist of electrons. And the very fundamental existence of reality, in a metaphorical sense, to use a metaphor, hyperbole, the world is nothing but frozen light. Just as water goes through transitional states from liquid, it can be frozen into a solid, and it can be boiled into a vapor and steam. These are transitional states. And believe it or not, that's what reality does. It goes through transitional states. The very proof of solipsism is that if you're not conscious, if you're not aware, such as in deep sleep or in a coma, or heaven forbid, dead, from the external world, there doesn't appear to be any consciousness. So how can there be a real world if you're in deep sleep, if you're in a coma, or if you're dead? Everyone around you assumes, and I admit it might be a wrong assumption, but nevertheless, standard common sense, standard reductionist physics assumes that if there's no awareness, there's no consciousness. And I know that's paradoxical. That's one reason why I believe in solipsism. Because it's very ironic. When you start reducing things to the primal existence, to their very basic essence, they start to dissolve. And naturally, that's where language fails. Language fails when you start to try to describe things that have very little or almost no symbology or metaphor behind them. That's why I refer you to Jack London's book, his short story called Star Rover. When there's no consciousness, either in death or deep sleep or a coma, how can that, what appears to be an individual, know that there's an external world. Standard reductionist physics says that individual cannot know because they're dead, because they're in a coma, because they're asleep. That's the whole foundation of solipsism. If there's no consciousness, if there's no awareness, how can there be a real world? You figure it out. It's ironic. It's paradoxical. Nevertheless, that's why I believe in solipsism. Thanks for watching this video. And please, don't scoff at ideas that you're not really understanding. Especially if you're very young and haven't experienced the world. There's another point too, and I refer to old age. There's something called cultural shock when you go to a different country. A land that's foreign to your sociology, foreign to your culture. You'll become frightened. It's called cultural shock. And this has something to do with solipsism, because the world actually changes when you change your consciousness. Especially if you're dead, in a coma, or asleep. Check this book out, The Self-Aware Universe. And yes, I'm aware of the holographic theory of existence. And you might use that as a synonym. You might, with a little explanation, use that as a synonym for solipsism. Because what is the basic essence that holds the hologram? I don't know. Thanks for watching.